All right, everyone, starting off with this thing, what you get, here, let me get to the right screen. What you get when you buy this thing is you get a fold out, a full life-size fold out, so you get an idea just how big it is, okay? And I don't have room on here. Whoa, the Moon Gundam goes falling down. I don't have room on here to open it up fully. I need to redo this desk, and I'm not going to redo this desk until August. Okay, I can open it up this much, and we'll get a good look at it there. And here's the model that we're used to from AMT Ertl, or round 2 at these days. And you can see it's quite a bit bigger. The whole saucer section from the one we're used to fits inside the phaser ring. Okay. Now, I did some evaluations before I bought this. I wasn't just going to go spend that much money on something I found laying around. I went to the website, I read their literature, I went looking online, read what I could find online, and what I found was kind of dismal. What I'm thumbing through right now is their literature on the Enterprise D. Okay? They're telling us what model they base things on. They're saying the saucer can separate. I don't think it comes with a separate stand for separating them, however. So that will be fun. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to craft a stand for that, but that doesn't worry me. Okay? And they're talking about how they based it and what they did to build it. Okay? So that's informative. Didn't take too long to read when I read through it. And here's the actual build instructions. They're talking about in this issue, you get your ship parts, assembly, and other stuff about the show. Now we have stage 1 parts and stage 2 parts. Now, again, I went looking and I wanted to know some things about this. It just wasn't there. How bright are the lights? Couldn't find it anywhere. Part of the reason why is the people who are building this model kit. Let me switch this. Part of the reason why is the people who are building this model kit are Star Trek fans more than they are model builders. They're attracted to it because there's no glue, no paint, no nothing. So they feel like I can do this. Even though it's expensive, if you're a really big Star Trek fan, you feel like this is something you can do. And you're not going to be lost or intimidated by it. And to be honest, I think that was the goal of the company who designed this. But what I didn't like is I couldn't find the proper information about paint, brightness of the lights, and stuff along those lines. So I took a gamble. And I'm opening this so we can see exactly what we're getting here. Let me flip this over here. All right, so now, this is metal. This is a big piece. And what worried me was the paint job on it. Because I've done enough research and enough reading to know that the paint job on the Enterprise was, I'm not going to use the proper terms. Why do I sit down in front of these cameras and lose my proper terminology? But anyhow, it was done with some very faint markings on it, and they have replicated that on here fairly well. And you can see it on both parts of this bridge. Now, as for lighting, I'm not sure. It looked to me like they're using a battery pack, which I don't have as of yet. I will get it soon enough. But it looks like that they are doing some pretty good lighting on this. I mean, pretty good paint job on this. Now, these 2 parts are plastic. So if there's lighting coming through them, if they're not colored properly, and it looks like they knew what they were doing and used black plastic on this, they're not colored properly, it isn't going to look right. Let me have that part backwards. I don't think I do. But you can tell the panel lines and the Aztecing, there it is. The Aztecing on this is done well. That's the first thing that worried me. Because the model builders, they don't hold this up where you can see that Aztecing. I mean, the non-model builders. It's not something to them that they would look for. Okay? The other thing that worried me, and I've since calmed those fears, is these lines were very apparent on the model that people were building on the internet, because each one of these is a separate metal plate. But after doing some research and some reading and looking, it's okay because you can tell they're here too. Okay, those panel lines are here too. So let's look at what we got here. We got a couple metal plates, and I'm sure I have all these parts. We have some screw parts. My next shipment is already shipped. It hasn't come in yet, so I'm going to have fun with these screw parts. I'm going to have to keep them where I can find them throughout this thing. I'm going to leave the parts here in this tray as I work. And there's plenty of build videos out there of people building this stuff. So I don't know how much I'm going to build on camera as we proceed further. Okay? Now, it says you begin building U.S. Enterprise with one of the most recognizable elements, the main command bridge on the top of Deck 2, plus the beginnings of the lighting system. Illustrations are color-coded to help you identify which parts are being assembled. Red are new parts, fit and screws. Yellow identifies new parts, and gray-blue indicates previously assembled parts. Okay, so it does come with a screwdriver, which is nice. And I hope it's a good screwdriver, because screwdrivers tend not to be good in this size. And I have my favorites downstairs. Believe it or not, they came with Duracell freebies. They're perfect for opening toys, and I've used, I don't know. Okay, I figured out how to tap it to get it to reopen. Yeah, some of you have told me about this camera. I can't change the settings so it doesn't do what it does. The only way I can do it is to put it in record mode, which it cannot capture 4K during shooting mode. So if I put it in record mode, I can't stream. But if I'm streaming, it's going to keep clicking on and off. I'm going to have to contact Sony and see what I can do about that, because that's an expensive camera. But anyhow, what I was saying is, have my favorite screwdriver downstairs came with Duracell battery pack. I used it on toys. It's perfect on toys. This is about the same size screwdriver, and let's see how well this holds up throughout this process. Okay, so I'm supposed to take probably the two parts I was holding. Nope. This part's not called for as of yet, but we're supposed to take this part right here. And I wonder how durable this paint job is. Since I'm going to be covering this up in here, let's find out. Yeah. Like I was afraid of, it isn't that durable, so you better be careful with this thing as you're working with it. It scratched real readily, but I scratched it someplace where you shouldn't ever see anything, so it should be okay. And it looks to me like I take this part and I cover it, that part there, with this part by pushing it in, and we take a couple of screws and we screw them in, and the screws are the AP screws, which are labeled in this package right here. And I want to make sure that I don't use too many and don't lose any, and that is going to be the fun part of this. I think I'm going to go get a little magnet and pop it down here on the table so I don't start losing screws everywhere. I've got lots of magnets sitting right to my left. I like playing with magnets. The problem is magnets don't like playing sometimes with me. I actually had a student almost hurt themselves playing with some of the magnets I own. So that's what I meant by that comment. Magnets don't always like playing with me. But you'll notice that the screws stuck to that very well. And they're supposed to go through, and I'm going to turn this over again to make sure I get it correctly. They're supposed to go through these two holes right here, which is good. And I'm hoping there's no lighting going on with this. There probably is. I've probably screwed up some lighting. Okay, so let's put our two screws in. It would be nice if the screwdriver's magnetic, but I wouldn't count upon it. Seems to be. And like I said, I don't know how much of this build video I'm going to record for future uses, because it might be pretty boring just to watch someone sitting here screwing parts. But one thing I can talk about is my life. I think I might start another YouTube channel dealing with my life as a single dad. I just had my daughters here for 2 weeks, and wow, being a full-time single parent like that for 2 weeks was an experience. Okay? Not that my daughters are bad. They are not bad. They're good kids. Real good kids. Yeah, and see the part I scratched is covered up. So I'm feeling pretty good about this right now. All right. I've got good kids, so I'm not worried about it. Take bridge lights OV1. Now these should all be numbered and lettered. And they look like your standard LEDs. I do not see any resistors on them. So it might be possible that they are just plain old standard LEDs, which means that it would be easy to hijack the lighting. I hate to say that, but it might be easy to hijack the lighting on this. Okay? Might be real easy to hijack the lighting on this and redo it the way you want it to be done. I have to figure out which one of these I'm using because, oh, marked with a C sticker. Here's the A sticker, the B sticker, and here's the C sticker. Okay? So marked with the C sticker, I have this right here. And again, it might be real easy to hijack the lighting on these by just cutting them off and redoing them. Because I don't think they're doing any resistors or anything on this. We'll find out. I will find out when I finally get a battery board. Okay? I will find out when I finally get a battery board on this and see what they are doing with it. They might be just plain old, ordinary LEDs. Might be real easy to work with. We'll see. Back to this. Okay? So, grab this guy right here. This is the part we were just working with. Okay? And take the bridge, OV1, marked with a C sticker, and identify the bulb with the yellow-white wiring, which I have here. Fits the bulb with the yellow-white wiring. It fits the bulb to the underside of the bridge base. C1 is shown, so the parts immediately below the bulb surround the oblong jut. Okay, and they're talking about this little spot right here. This doesn't look like it's going to be too hard to do. Maybe more annoying than anything. But right there. They want it like that. Okay? Next, cover the bulb with the rear window, OJ1, which appears to be this part right here. And if we take a look at this part, camera focus, it appears that part of it is clear and part of it is painted silver. Okay? Which should help with lighting just fine. And it's got a spot for the LED to sit in it. And if you notice, it's got a spot for the LED to sit in it, just like this. So they have done some engineering work on the lighting of this kit. So the LED shows up just perfectly on it. And you just snap that in there. Put that in there. Press that in like that. And then you're going to have it like this. Now, without powering that LED, which I could do, I might do it in a little bit. Let's get this whole bridge assembled. Okay? And then we're going to take the other one. Now take the other bulb from the bridge lights, the red and black wiring. This fits the underside of the bridge base in the same way as the first bulb, facing the opposite direction. There is a little mark in there for it as well. So we want this to look like this. You're going to have some dexterity when you do this. I'm going to tell you all that. Okay? And then we get the other bridge section and pull that out, which is this part, which is the same sort of part. The windows are clear along here and silver here. Clear plastic on top of a silver piece. Or it looks like that's just silver paint. Now, I'm not going to scratch this to find out how durable it is like I did the other, because I'm not sure how well this will hold up. You know, this isn't something I want to test and find out the hard way. Like the other one, I'm pretty sure it's fine. While I do this, yeah, it's going to require some dexterity on your part to do this. Get it in there just right. It's going to require some dexterity, because that bulb doesn't want to sit in there. There it went. I heard a snap when it went in there, which is kind of nice. Okay. And I found my first booger I don't like. All right. Speaking of boogers, you can see it. There's a little nib mark right there on the bridge, and if I'd seen that before put it in, I might have tried to correct it. It's minor. You're looking at this thing, you're probably not going to find that nib mark. Third wire is coming through bridge assembly through the center of the bridge bottom. Okay. One, which is this part right here. Okay, and they want you to thread them through the center part of it, like so. And I was playing with this earlier to see how this worked. I think I have that correct. Doesn't look like I have it correct. That's annoying. I don't have it correct. Yeah, I do. It's just not snapping in the way I'd like. And again, be careful with these things because they will scratch. You don't want to scratch the paint on this. And I'm not going to see, there's a gap forming right along there. And if you're doing lighting, you don't want gaps like that showing up. So it tells me I'm forcing something. Something isn't lined up quite right up here. So I'm going to go double press everything and make sure it's correct before I do anything more. And I might have this backwards. Let's see if I have it backwards. Yeah, I think I had it backwards, and that's also part of the issue. Well, the gaps are still there. Although I don't have it backwards anymore, the gaps are still there. Which I don't like. Ah, there we go. I had to push it in a little bit, and as soon as I pushed it in, see, here it's snapping. As soon as I pushed it in, the gaps went away. So we can. I'm probably going to switch this camera out before too long. That's just annoying. Okay, and you can see the gaps are not there once I pressed it in and got it aligned correctly. But be careful. You don't want to scratch this thing. And it's using two of the same screws I was just using a minute ago. I'm using my magnet so I don't lose them because I don't want to lose any of these. That would suck. Now, if you were to glue this thing, I would have to say you would have to be very careful when you glue it, and you would be using, these two parts are plastic, so you could glue them together with probably model cement. They feel like they're styrene. They may not be. I'm not sure what they're made out of because there's no sprue material to find out. Now, the lifeboats have sprue material, and you're going to have to cut those, which is going to be a problem because my good sprue cutters are all downstairs. So I'm going to have some editing in this video in a little bit, which I don't want to have. There, I'm done to here. I'm done with page 1. Yay! Page 7. Okay. Locate the deck 2, the big thing. This guy. And he is metal. I don't know if it scratches as easily either. I can find out. Probably on the underside it'd be okay under here to try it. No, it doesn't scratch as easily. It does scratch. So again, be careful when you're handling these. I don't want to scratch up that Aztecing along here, because this thing's going to look good when it's put together, provided the gaps and everything aren't there. Okay, locate deck 2, the big part, and emergency flush vent 01, and fit the vent into slot as shown. Then take the deck lights marked with a B sticker and fit the bulb with a black and yellow wire next to the vent, so the rubbery base of the bulb straddles along the jut. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is the flush vent right here that they're talking about. And these are marked right and left, which should make them easier to deal with. And again, this is not being very difficult to work with. It really is not. So find light string B. Got light string B. We want the yellow and black one. Okay. And if we start taking a look at it, opposite side of the deck, position emergency flush vent and cover it with emergency flush vent right bracket. Screw it in place, CM screw. So this vent over here doesn't get a light, but this vent does. But from the looks of it, if the light is there, it's from something else. Okay? Yeah, it looks like the left one doesn't get a light at all. I'm looking through here and seeing if we add the light later, but it doesn't look like you are. Okay? So, with a CM screw. So we're not using these AP screws anymore. Now, one thing about this is it's supposed to give me a screw holder, a box for holding screws later, which I don't have. The next shipment comes with the binder for these directions and for all the propaganda it comes with. And my understanding is you get a lot of these screws. They ship extra of the screws, so you're going to want a box to hold them in. And I don't know if the screws are going to be used later or not. But the good thing is the screws are metal, so I can just grab them with a magnet like I'm doing and not lose them all over the house because they're not real big. Okay. Locate the two, and I'm still reading this, marked with a B sticker. Yellow, black. It seems really strange to me that they've only light one side of this thing and not the other. It seems really strange to me that one side's lit and the other is not. We have the bulb mark here. You're only holding it down with one screw, it looks like. Oh, just got a message. Who sent me a message? Okay. It's not an important message. I don't have to answer. And you only bolt this down with one screw. And it's the right one. Okay. Looks like I'm doing something wrong because I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I feel like I'm doing something wrong because the LED is on the wrong side. If you look at the picture and you look here, it looks like it's on the wrong side of this thing. And that feels pretty bad. Okay? Let's see what the other one is marked and how it is situated. Because I would hate to be putting the... Oh, I know what I'm doing. I know what's wrong. I got the wrong piece. Yep, I have the wrong piece. That would explain it. I have the wrong piece. No, I don't think I have the wrong piece. I'm going to have to go looking because this part has a nub mark on it. These two parts right here don't have nub marks on them. And this looks more like that part right there. So let me go back in the directions. And I think I'm going to quit recording this and just come back later to not drive everyone nuts with a long video and just have an update. So I'll be putting up 2 videos this week because this thing's getting long. And I'll just come back after I've put a lot of it together. Okay?